Let me do.
Now
Let's
we're
get.
live.
Oh, nice. Just as I'm standing up.
That's all right.
Okay. All righty.
Hi, everybody. We're just getting started, waiting for people to check in. We have quite a few people in the room now. We'll give you another minute. I'm Barbara Weaver-Smith. I'm here with Dan Waldschmidt. We're excited to be with you well, it's morning in Phoenix. It's right after lunch in D.C., so.
That's right. You betcha. I feel like my partner just landed from international travel this morning, and so he's calling me at like 6 a.m. in the morning because he can't sleep.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
you know how that goes. So.
Okay, well, people are gathering, so let's go ahead and get started. We don't want to belabor this morning, but I'm really excited to have all of you here. Thanks for joining us for this conversation between me and my dear friend, Dan Waldschmidt. I wanted to start by telling you how Dan and I got connected quite a few years ago when the Whale Hunters was a new company. We hooked up with Dan when he was still CEO of his first company, which he has since sold, and he'll tell you about that. And we didn't do business together then. I can't claim him as an original whale hunter, but we have done a lot of business together since then, and I'm proud to be an associate of Waldschmidt Partners, and we've done some deals and worked together with some clients and had a lot of fun. So I'm very grateful to Dan for being on the air with me today and helping to host this first launch of the Whale Hunters Exceptional Exit Program. It's brand new, and this is our first time on air. So Dan, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Yeah, so thank you, Barbara. So Barbara, for all of you joining me, and I've advertised this in my newsletters and in, let me set my phone here to vibrate, good. Newsletters and tweeting, and you guys know I advertise like 4 things a year. And most of the time, I think this profession of sales craziness. But I like what Barbara has to offer. When she sent me, Barbara, what is this, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months ago? How long? You've been working on this exceptional exit program for some time now. What was it, 3 months ago? It's been a while.
Close to a year. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so it has been a while. So Barbara reached out and said, listen, I've got this program called Exceptional Exit, and I thought, the first thought that went to my head was all those years ago when we first met. So I reached out to actually someone on Barbara's team and started talking to them about my company. So my previous company, I was at a crossroads. I kind of had 2 paths to go down. One was to get some investment and grow it even bigger, even faster. And the second path, of course, was to sell. So I was having 2 simultaneous conversations at the same time, and Barbara's team really impressed me by the fact that they had this really solid, reproducible model for helping me exit my company. Now, for all of you who spent lots of time developing your company, developing your services, whether you're a consultant or whether you're selling physical products, you know that your company is your baby. So when you go to sell your company, there's this weird balance where the guy on the other end wants you enough to talk to you, but everything he says devalues you so that he can actually find a way to get you for a better price. So there's this delicate balancing act. Yeah, and it's a kind of a love-hate relationship, right? Where they want you enough to, of course, to buy you, but of course along the way they're going to have to knock off for this and knock off for this and knock off this. By the way, sorry about that, guys. I just changed I have two different cameras here. I changed the angle of it. So anyways, I met Barbara way back then, and of course, as I was spinning up Welchman Partners, after selling my company, I asked her to join us and provide some value to our clients because she adds this value. Okay, skip forward a couple years, and it's now 9 months ago, a year ago, when Barbara sends me the outline. I think that's just what it was, a couple outlines for this exceptional exit program. And I was this mix of excited and somewhat angry. Angry that this wasn't already done 5 years ago, 6 years ago. And then I said to her, I think almost explicitly, when this is ready, when this goes live, make sure you tell me, because in my world, I've got just dozens and dozens and hundreds of you out there who are all looking to get the best possible value for your company. And so I'm really excited to ask Barbara. Barbara, talk to us about like the core tenets of what you're calling the exceptional exit program.
Yeah, I'm glad to, and thanks for that intro, Dan. It has been quite a while that we've been talking about this.
Yeah.
The exceptional exit program is the core of it is the whale hunters process. And I've been consulting with companies on the whale hunters process. I work, as you know, with small, mid-sized businesses. I work directly with the owners and their sales and marketing team, and really with their cross-functional team. And one of the things I find all the time is that so often the owner, the entrepreneur, like you, the owner is primarily the rainmaker, doing the big deals, and you never have the real value in your company unless the company can make money without you. Eventually, it's going to have to do something about you. 90% of small businesses never get sold; they just close their doors. So this was a characteristic of a lot of my clients. So that's been the focus of my learning from the consulting. So, you know, consulting services are expensive, and they put feet on the ground, and we start at, you know, about 15 grand for a minimal thing, and it goes up to 350,000 or more. And a lot of people don't have the heart for that, because entrepreneurs want to, you know, keep their money, obviously. And so I wanted to put that same program together in an online version where you partly do it yourself, partly a lot of coaching from me and my team on this end. So it is the Whale Hunters process. It's focused on building the valuation of your company, both in the short term and in the long term. But it's in a completely online version where the content comes out over 8 weeks. There are live phone calls every week, and it's a kind of a blended learning. And one more thing I'll just add. Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. So essentially, you're taking, and I saw the outline for this. You're taking everything that you've developed in Whale Hunters for the last 15, 20 years, and you're turning it into, it's a part online training, and there's a part where you're involved. 8 weeks you mentioned, right? 8 weeks?
Yes. We're going to deliver the content.
Talk to us a little bit about some of the content I'm going to be sharing here.
Yeah. It starts with how to define your ideal customer and how to create your target filter so that everybody on your team knows what are the characteristics, the metrics of what would be an ideal customer for you. Then you take those metrics and run them through business database online and come up with the names of real companies. And then the next part of the process shows you systematically how to learn about them and how to go after them, when to go after them, how to go after them. And that's where it starts, and then it goes into the real details of how to understand who are the buyers in big companies, because it's all focused on deals that are 10 times to 20 times more than current average deal. So it tracks along with my book, Whale Hunting, which will be delivered to everybody who's in the program. And it's very, very step by step. It goes all through scouting the whales and hunting them till you land that deal.
Why does this process lead to such exceptional exits? Why this program?
Most important thing about valuation of your company is the predictability of future sales. So whale hunting process does several things for small companies. First of all, it takes the owner out of the role of chief rainmaker and builds that process into the company where all the sales team, the marketing team, and the operations people can all understand it and be part of business development. Gives you a lot of metrics, a lot of data that you can easily manage over time. So think about it when you're eventually ready to exit your company. If you're going to sell it, you would be able to talk to people about, here's how we got our last 10 big deals. This is the list of companies where our next 25 deals will come from. This is how we know. This is how we go after them. This is our 5 or 20 years of history of doing bigger deals and systematically growing this company. So you have evidence, data. You have an intrinsic value in the company that doesn't depend on you. So it gives you confidence that your company can survive. And a lot of owners don't want to talk about exit. We don't even want to think about it, but sooner or later it's going to happen. You don't need to be afraid of it. The better you plan, the better off you are.
Yeah. What's ironic about this, Barbara, is this morning before I joined you, I was talking to my insurance guy, and everyone's got an insurance guy, you know, and it's that conversation you don't want to have, but it's in the future, it's always the conversation you're glad you had, you know. The number one thing I see in talking to big companies and small companies, and actually even medium-sized companies, is the fact that while they have some successes, they aren't entirely sure how they had those successes, and they're not entirely able to communicate elegantly at all how they're going to manufacture their next level of successes. Are you saying that as part of this exceptional exit program that really the gist of it is being able to manufacture success and communicate to the buyer that you know how to build success even when you're not there?
That's a perfect observation, and that's exactly the truth of it. Most of my clients have had a whale or two, but they come to me and they say, you know, we've had a couple of big deals, it's really good, we like that, but we don't really know how we did it, and we don't know how to do it again. And so this makes it systematic. I mean, what's unique about whale hunting is that it's all written out, it's all planned out. You're going to get this in video, you're going to get it in audio segments, you're going to get it in Q&A on the phone, private coaching calls from me. But it's very systematic. You'll be able to say, this is how we do it, this is what my team knows, this is how we train new people, this is how we learn who the buyers are, this is how we understand what they're afraid of, what they want, etc. Very detailed.
So a couple questions for you here, a couple questions. Number one, talk to us about some of the segments that you're going to be teaching. Number two, are there any customers? I know you've got a long track record of existing customers. I mean, maybe after you tell us what some of the segments are, I want to come back and talk to you about what industries this works best for. So my first question is, talk to me about some of the segments. What am I going to be learning in these 8 weeks?
Okay, it's going to follow the whale hunting process. In whale hunting jargon, it's scout, hunt, and harvest. So you're going to start with making a target filter, figuring out the characteristics of an ideal company for you. You're going to learn how to find those companies. You're going to learn how to learn more about them and how your team can learn more about them, and you're going to learn strategies for how to find people inside the company to talk to and how to make contact with them. Then you're going to learn systematically how to manage a complex sale. These are B2B sales where you're smaller and you're going to a very large company. You're going to learn how to involve your subject matter experts in a sale, because as you know, Dan, in today's sales world, people have kind of a short attention span for the salesperson. They want to meet the experts who's going to be delivering the service, who are your technology people, who are the people in your company who know how to do this. So we'll go step by step through that whole process, finding your clients, getting in the door, talking to them, and closing a deal with them.
Yes, you know, I'm distracted so easily. You've got like 4.5 good seconds, and then I'm off to something else. What I heard you say, there's some elements were scout, hunt, and what was the third one?
Harvest.
Harvest.
Scout,
hunt, and harvest, and that's kind of the whale. And these are that's your own vocabulary, but essentially being able to find companies who you're not doing business with now that would be good fits.
Right.
And not necessarily, of course, one of the things that I'm ranting about is everybody's stuck on inbound marketing. Well, what if nobody's coming to you right now? I think, having worked with you already, you're going to teach them how to go find the people, outbound marketing, outbound sales tactics that actually work, how to go find the people that should be doing business with you and how to close them. So scouting, hunting, knowing how to actually close the deal. So what's the angle? How can you be of value? I think you just said earlier, even if you're a small guy and they're a big guy, you're going to teach how that you can actually, what do they want? How do big companies work with small little dudes, and how do you close those deals? And the third part was harvest. Talk to me more about the harvesting part, because that's the part I'm less clear about. Is what is harvest? Is that getting more value from existing customers? Is that what is that? I'm a little unclear.
Well, it starts with you have to know how to do this business if you get it. I mean, the worst thing is you get a really big deal and then you're not equipped to deliver it at a high level, and that sets you way back. So that part is very much involved in everybody in your company understanding what you're doing and what's going to happen when this whale comes in the door. I mean, we say that the village eats because it hunts. And so in typical company, salespeople are big on business development, but everybody else isn't. In a whale hunting company, everybody understands why we eat, how we make money, how we do it. And so, again, coming from the analogy of the Inuit whale hunters, they honored the whale. They took all these risks because a whale could feed their village for a year. So it's a great analogy that gets everybody thinking about being expert in honoring this customer that you brought in. And then obviously it includes getting new business with your existing customers. Although this particular program doesn't go deep into that, mostly focused on scouting and hunting.
I'm going to tell a quick story here, if you don't mind, about this process. So Barbara and I were working together for one of our clients, and I still remember this is a company that's 50 or 60 years old, and they're in an industry where they manufacture pieces of things. And it's a second generation. I think it's a second generation business. The CEO said to me, basically, and to Barbara, listen, I know anybody who's anybody. I know everybody who's anybody. I've seen them all. I talked to them all. We've been in front of them all. They're either buying from us now or they're not going to buy us from the future. ...
Yeah.
But if there's anybody you can bring me, you go do your thing. And I almost felt like someone was like patting me on the head, you know? All right, little kid. All right, little kid. And so we went away and did research, and now they were paying us consulting dollars, so this was a lot more money, I'm guessing, than what you're going to be selling the program for.
Yeah.
We went away, and I think we took 3 or 4 or 5 weeks. It wasn't overnight, but we began to do some of this methodology, looking at what they did, not just what they said they did, but what do they do, you know? And then looked at where their area was. And I thought something was really unique. We came back and talked to the CEO of the company, and we made a couple observations. We said, okay, you are sending your salespeople all over the world on planes and trains and automobiles to trade shows and things like that. They had offices in China, offices in different parts of the world. We're going to build for you a scouting map that's within 250 miles of your location.
That's what we did,
so
yeah.
You can drive there by car. You can drive there by car and save on airplane tickets. I think we found almost 400 companies.
We did.
400 companies, which, of course, you know, when you go as a CEO, and certainly this CEO was not dumb. He was very smart, very inspiring, very thoughtful, but he thought he had seen everybody. And what happened was, at the end of this process, we presented him with almost 500 new potential targets that could buy from him tomorrow. Nothing was stopping him. They could buy from him tomorrow exactly what he was selling. He wouldn't have to change one thing in his manufacturing process to start selling to all of these people. And I remember in this analysis and getting it back to him, there was kind of this silence, you know, like, wow. Right in our backyard, there's almost 500 potential people that we could do business with. I was shocked by the results of that. I'm sure he was shocked by it, and is right now working on closing all of those deals. And I think, in fact, one of the largest deals they've ever closed came as a result of this process. Millions and millions of dollars as a result of this one process. I think it was over $6.25 million was a deal, big deal as a result of this process. So this is, now, one thing the reason why I tell that story is I feel like I'm getting pushback from community members who say to me, I know that works for IT and software, but that doesn't work for me. I'm in construction, or I'm in, you know, woodworking, or I'm in, you know, professional services. That probably doesn't work for me. So, Barbara, tell us, who does this work for? Who is your program for?
Yeah, it's for owners, and actually the program is it'll be 2 people for the price of 1. It's the owner and also a key lieutenant, a COO or a sales VP will be doing this together. So this is for B2B companies that are growing and want to continue to grow. A lot of times they hit a plateau. They need to get to the next step. They need to get to the next level. And I don't want, because you tell that story in the weeks of research, I don't want to frighten people. Since we did that project, you know, the research tools are so much better, and I'm going to teach you how to use your library, how to find an intern to do the research. It's a piece of cake if you know how to do it, and that's partly what this program is about. It's not going to take you forever, but it's absolutely true that you can find lots of customers. So we're focused on B2B businesses, and I've been in every industry, Dan, from heavy equipment, my client Midwest Mole, to all kinds of professional services, legal, accounting, lots of marketing firms in all kinds of areas, sign makers, manufacturing, valve manufacturers, screw manufacturers, people who sell services to educational institutions, printing, every kind of industry. And in the landing page that we've set up for this, which is at thewhalehunters.com/exit, you find a long list of industries with the names of specific companies that I've personally worked with over the past 10 years implementing the Whale Hunters process. So if you're a B2B company, my target is kind of a company that's doing $5 million to $100 million in annual revenue. For this program, you can be smaller than that. It's going to be affordable even if you're smaller, and you can start sooner than some of my clients do because of the pricing.
Yeah, that's right. I was just, when you gave that URL, it's thewhalehunters.com/exit, by the way. For those of you watching, I'm sure you're all going to be distracted now and go and see that. But what I want to impress upon you is this process, and again, I don't want it to seem scary to anyone. Like anything, it works if you work it, right? If you're willing, if you're someone who's saying, look, I desperately want new business, I just don't know how. And I've been doing this a while. I've been building my business a while, and when I sell my business, I want top value. I'm just not sure. One thing I noticed you said a few minutes ago, Barbara, which I concur, is I meet clients who win big deals, which is a difference between deliberately hunting big deals, deliberately going out and having the formula to be able to land those deals. The difference is, oh, we've landed a big deal in the past. But this process is one that's reproducible. I have a couple of people sending me messages here, texting me. Someone just texted me and said, if we have existing contacts in our database, can we use this process to target our existing opportunities and segments? I think that's actually a good question. So I think what they're trying to say, and there's a couple words missed out, but saying, can this be combined with some of the sales strategy or sales marketing strategy that companies are already doing?
Oh, absolutely. Because finding your next target is just part of it. So if you already have some targets, how do you, as a small company, really put your best foot forward to actually close those deals? A lot of small companies wind up coming in second. And what you'll learn in this program is that's because big company buyers primarily make their decision based on fear. They're risk averse. And so at the last minute, they're going to go with something safe that they won't get in trouble for if it goes wrong. And that's their preference over a newer, younger, less well-known company. They may know you really well, but their board doesn't know you. Their CEO doesn't know you. So we go through this whole process of how do you figure out what they're afraid of, how do you mitigate their fear and their risk so that they can understand your advantages. So even if you already know who you want to go after, there's a whole lot in the hunting process that you probably don't know and you're not doing.
If what's your availability, or as part of this program, do they have access to you to answer just questions? People are texting me, answering me questions. Is there during the process, or are they going to have access to you?
Absolutely. We'll be on the phone live for a group call at least once a week, scheduled for an hour, but we'll go for as long as people have questions. And then I'm going to personally review all of the products they do, like when they do their target filter. I'm going to look at and give them email feedback, and I will have 3 one-hour private one-on-one calls with everybody in the program during those 8 weeks.
Oh, so everybody gets called. Fantastic, fantastic. One of the things that I know in learning that you've been, I think the analogy of the whale hunt is pretty amazing. And in your book, you talk about, kind of the spiritual side of the whole process of the different team members that it takes to land a big deal, the process, and kind of all the different aspects of what goes into a real whale hunt in Eskimos, Inuits, the real whale hunters. Once someone's done with this process, so it's a 2-month-long process, what should they anticipate? Is this someone where they hire an additional person, or is it just the existing people on their team are doing new things, doing better things? What should someone experience 8 weeks in? Obviously, they're probably not going to close a whale yet. If they are, that would be a great success story for you. Might take a little longer than that to close a whale. What should we anticipate 8 weeks after this program's over?
8 weeks, when they've been through this program, they're going to have really significant process steps built into the company that people can follow. And if you do the implementation the way I'm going to coach them to do it, there'll be a number of people in the company who understand it. They will have revised their sales process or actually committed it to paper if they don't have it written down already,
Yeah.
and actually have this implemented. Now, as far as when you land your whale, that could be 6 months out, 12 to 18 months out before you really get one, depending on the sales cycle in your industry. It's going to take longer to land a whale than it does to do your transactions. So you can't
Right.
just do whales, you do business as usual, and you incorporate, you devote some resource, primarily time resource, against this process. I think what the entrepreneurs should understand and will appreciate is this puts the owner in the driver's seat. You own the sales decisions. You have your team come to you and say, we ought to go after this deal, and here's why. Here's what we know. Here's who we know. Here's how we're going to go about it. Here's where we want your input. But you get to decide which resources get expended in this way. And only when your team is ready, then do you go forward. It's very much owner-driven, management-driven.
Well, like many entrepreneurs, I don't know that we're pretty much all control freaks. So I think that's a really wise advertisement there for you. So one other thing that so when you get done with this 8-week process, you're going to know how to go find people you're not selling to now, sell to them. You're going to know how big companies make buying decisions. And by the way, this isn't just informational; it's applicable. So you're going to know, okay, here's the words I need to use, here's the phrases I need to use, here's what I need to say, here's what I don't need to say, in order to negotiate with big companies and close big deals. And then you're going to learn how to actually get the work done. I actually hear this a lot from CEOs. Well, we need to figure out how to do the work before we win the work. And of course, my response is always close the deal. Once you have the revenue, you can figure it out how to get the work done. What I like about it, it's not one or the other. We're going to figure out and sell it. We're going to target all areas of this approach.
Yeah, that's true. Why I say it's driven by the management, you're not going to go after 20 times bigger deals at the same time, because if you land all 3 of them, you'll be in big trouble. So you have to do it systematically. It's a safe process. We're looking at both ends. What can we sell and what can we deliver? And one thing you find is that the more you work with bigger companies, your team gets a lot more sophisticated. They learn a lot of process things from working with bigger customers. It takes your whole operation to a whole new level when we do that.
So July 31st, the program starts the first class is July 31st.
Yes.
That's the first class. Is there availability in the first class, or are you already sold out? Do you have some availability for people who are here with us today?
We have some availability. We do. Yep.
Okay. And I'm reading here the program specs. 9 question and answer conference calls. Your online system. You say in here that you will, for each of the companies who signs up, personally review and help refine their target filter, which you'll learn, by the way. That's the companies that you're going after, the 500 companies that Barbara and I found. That's where we found those with the formula. That's that formula.
Exactly.
9 conference calls, 4 extra group Q&A implementation calls after the first 9. So you're at 9, 4, 13 calls, 2 1-hour one-on-one private telephone consultations with your 2 senior leaders, and then on top of that, your analysis, your review of all of the work that's been done after the 8 weeks for each specific company. That's a lot of work for you.
Well, it is. That's why, but it's different from going on site and consulting. This is not a program that I just want to throw it out there like a book. I mean, people like my book, and I'm very proud of it because it's a how-to book, but it's not enough for most people. You need more hands-on. You need more. You're really taking my model and turning it into your own map, and that's the part I want to help them do. That's what I love to do. That's my passion about my work.
I know, I've worked with you many times, so I know that you enjoy this. Let me just quickly run through some of the modules that people are going to learn. For the first module you're going to learn is the big picture of implementing the process. You're going to learn why this matters. You're going to learn the strategies that help power this. The second module you're going to learn is how to declare a compelling brand promise. And what this really means is how you're going to differentiate yourself from everybody else. Even those who are small, those who are medium, those who are big, you're going to learn how to differentiate yourself. Third, you're going to learn how to identify your company's ideal customers. And this is putting that formula together that Barbara and I did, hands-on, much more expensive than what you're going to get here, but hands-on, that formula for finding people that should be doing business with you, are ready to give you money, but aren't doing it yet. Fourth module is where to locate and how to connect with your ideal customers. For those of you, of course, who are reading my Edgy Conversations, you know I have some opinions on that as well, about less BS and more real-life human ways to connect with your customers. Number 5 is know the secrets of how big companies buy, what we just talked about. Number 6, get sales and marketing materials to eliminate big company fears. Another valuable thing. Module 7, build the steps of your large account sales process. Module 8, how to manage this entire process. Once it's working, how do you refine it? How do you make it even better? Of course, there's a bunch of bonus materials. I could read this whole website, except we'd be here for 2 hours. I'm scrolling down the page, thewhalehunters.com/exit. New content is starting July 30th. So let me throw in one more thing. As part of this program, you know me, guys. If you're listening because I invited you, you know that I get pitched by everybody and their brother to offer you things. And Barbara was amazing and said to me, I know how passionate you are about To Write Love in Your Arms. By the way, thank you, all of you in the community who've helped donate thousands of dollars to my charity. It's not my charity, but the one that I get involved with, To Write Love in Her Arms, which, let me remind all of you, donates money to or focuses on children who have suicidal thoughts and depression. Very near and dear to my heart. And Barbara is donating a very large chunk of 50% of everyone who signs up for her program. She was going to donate her entire profit from this program to Write Love in Her Arms. So if there's one thing that gets me excited where I say go buy from her, I get excited when you start talking about To Write Love in Her Arms. So if you scroll down to the bottom of the page, you'll see that she added that promise to the website, that she's taking 50% of all of this money and donating it to Write Love in Her Arms. So, of course, that gets me really passionate about this, because not only are you learning how to make more money, but a few kids somewhere will get a little more inspiration to go make a difference in the world. So thank you, Barbara, by the way. Thank you for that. It means a lot.
Well, thank you, Dan. I'm really excited to be able to do that. It's part of my philosophy of business, just like it is yours. I always learn a lot from you, and I think, you know, beyond being in business, we live in a world where, when we're fortunate to be blessed with good businesses and great opportunities, we need to be giving back. And so we're glad to do that for you. Now, I want to be sure everybody who registered for the program today will be getting a follow-up email, a link to the broadcast of this, which will be live right away on YouTube, and also a landing page that will explain in great detail about the program, everything that you're going to get and what it's going to cost. I'll tell you, it's not a secret what it costs. The list price is $3,997, but for you, until next Wednesday, the 2nd of July, close of business on the East Coast, your price will be $2,750. A considerable discount. This is for people who have been recruited by Dan Sullivan. I mean, not Dan Walschmidt, excuse me. So, friends of Dan, get a special deal.
Yay.
It's open for a week, and you can get it done before the 4th of July. So I hope you'll explore it further. And don't worry about the link. It's thewhalehunters.com/exit, but you will get it in your email, and you'll be able to
What's funny is I'm on my phone right now. I've got 9 messages from people saying, is this legit? Should I do it? Listen, shame on you for messaging me. You know who you are. Listen, why would I waste my time in something I didn't have confidence in? Yes. Listen, people. Once a year, I get wound up about something and go all ballistic and tell you should do it, right? Once a year. And it's not even for me, right?
Let me just add something to that.
Just kidding.
Just so that everybody
but I am very
knows.
passionate about what Barbara's doing.
There's a 100% satisfaction guarantee. I guarantee my programs. I can't guarantee your result, but I guarantee your satisfaction with the program. And if you get into it and it's not what you expected or you don't see the value, I'll refund your money without any problem. I stand behind my work. Dan, one more thing you started to ask me before and we didn't get to it. You wanted to talk about a few of my customers who have exited their companies.
Yes, please.
So as far as I know, 4 of my customers have made that sale. One is Workplace Media in Cleveland. They sold several years ago. They were one of my earliest customers. One of the first things they did was close a $3 million deal. They really completely reconfigured their company in an industry, print industry, that was really being commoditized. Probably the one that everybody would know about that I'm really proud to be able to say is the Indianapolis company ExactTarget, which a few months ago was sold to Salesforce for $2.5 billion. Now, I'm not personally responsible for that sale, but I worked with their national sales management. I know their owners. They have followed whale hunting for a long time, and I worked with their national sales team. They are a whale hunting company. The co-founder of ExactTarget, Chris Baggett, left there and founded Compendium. He has sold his company as well. So most of my clients are not at the age of exiting yet, but they have had some fantastic sales. Give you some examples of the kind of people who are doing whale hunting.
Fantastic. Yeah, thank you. I'm excited about it. Listen, knowing how to reproduce revenue, big deals in this economy, right, is something that's of a lot of value. So, thank you. By the way, I was gonna ask you, Barbara, when I was reviewing on the website, I thought we talked about the price being $5,000, but it looks like you've made it $27.50 now. So that's awesome for the next week at least. Thank you for that. And check it out. Listen, for all of you who have any questions or concerns, feel free to email me directly as well. And if you want to ask me something privately, I'm a big fan publicly. I'll be a big fan privately. You already are going to know that. But if you want to bounce a few questions off me, I feel free to call, email, write, tweet, LinkedIn, Facebook. I'm pretty much everywhere, it feels like. Barbara, thanks for sharing this with us. And you will be sending out an email as a next step, maybe in the next few hours, to everyone, just reminding them of the link and possibly giving them any additional information they need.
Absolutely, and contact information so they can reach me. I'm happy to talk about it too. Dan, thanks so much for this. Your enthusiasm is infectious, as everybody knows, and it's a great way to get started. And I look forward to meeting your friends and colleagues, the ones that I don't know yet. And it is true, you are everywhere, ubiquitous Dan, edgy conversations. I'll give a plug for your new book too, which I absolutely adore. So thanks for helping us out here, and I look forward to meeting everybody and seeing you online, and you will get an email really quickly with more information and links.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Barbara.
Thanks to you, and thanks to everybody. It's been nice to be with you today.